Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Steph, you having a good Friday so far?
It is a good Friday.
It is.
April 2nd.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is Easter weekend. We're so glad you are with us to start things off. We're going to check in with Katie and get an update on the forecast coming up. Some pretty good April Fool's jokes this week. One of the biggest and best we've seen in a long time was GMA's very own Michael Strahan. Did you hear about this?
I thought it was for real.
I mean, he had,
there you go.
The trademark gap was gone. He was out celebrating, getting reaction from New Yorkers on the street, and then we found out the truth. He's like, hey, folks.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
April Fool's. He said he wanted to keep it for his mom.
Yes, but I mean, most of the reaction was pretty strong. It was like, Michael, why did you get rid of your trademark gap? It looks good. People are used to it. Well, this was just one of many. KSAT.com has a collection of some of the local April Fool's jokes that turned out pretty good, too. Did you hear about the San Antonio Zoo and their huge expansion?
Yeah. This probably would have freaked me out if I would have seen it before. But, yeah, it was on a social media post, and it's like, this morning, San Antonio Zoo released images and announced a plan to create biodome system over the entire zoological facility, which spans both sides of Highway 281.
They say it was going to be the world's first biodome zoo, and it was going to cost $400 million.
Oh, my goodness.
They're not installing.
No, they're not. But if you look at the images, it's pretty funny and frightening.
One of the other funny ones was the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. They said that they had actually, during a daring early morning operation, had rescued a unicorn during a cartel drug lab raid. And there's the sheriff himself.
I like that the wording they used. It said this was off of Green Mountain Road in northern Bexar County. In addition to drugs, guns, and cash, investigators rescued a unicorn, which appears to have been smuggled into the county illegally by the infamous Los Alcranes drug cartel.
And then finally, Taco Cabana had a pretty good one. They yesterday announced their new 12 flavors in one, or 12-layer margarita.
that looks cool if it was ice cream.
We're used to multi-layer dips, right?
Yeah.
So we fell for the margarita. But they say there is a new menu item coming April 7th, so we'll check back in with the folks at Taco Cabana.
That's a good tease. For now, let's look at today's 9 at 9.
CDC issued new guidance on celebrating Easter. The guidance states that people fully vaccinated against COVID-19 can gather indoors without a mask with other fully vaccinated people. People who have not received the vaccine are advised to celebrate within their own household.
Bexar County Commissioner Justin Rodriguez says 1,000 unaccompanied migrant children are now staying at the Freeman Coliseum's Expo Hall. This after 500 more children arrived yesterday.
Governor of North Dakota declared a statewide fire emergency after a wildfire caused the city of Medora to be evacuated. The state has seen a growing number of wildfires due to extreme drought conditions.
Representatives from Iran, China, Russia, and Europe will meet today to discuss if the U.S. could rejoin the Iran nuclear deal. The premise of the deal is that Iran cut back its nuclear development in exchange for relief from international sanctions.
The Biden administration will end a Trump-era rule that automatically rejected certain immigration applications. Under that rule, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services would reject an application for asylum or immigration benefits when a blank space was left on the forms.
The IRS says today relief payments from the American Rescue Plan will start going to Social Security and other federal beneficiaries who didn't file a 2020 or 2019 tax return. The agency expects all payments to be sent electronically and received by April 7th.
Metro Health says almost 300 people of unknown age received a COVID-19 vaccine here in Bexar County. That's because some vaccination sites don't require people provide a date of birth. Officials say some of those people could be under 16 years old.
It's World Autism Awareness Day. The CDC says autism affects about 1 in 54 children. Landmarks, buildings, and homes around the world light up in blue to show support.
Final Four of the NCAA women's basketball tournament tips off right here in San Antonio. The winners meet for the national championship game on Sunday. Tickets for all games are still available, and that's today's 9 at 9. Now I know. Frost Tower was lit up in blue this morning. I thought it was for the NCAA Women's Final Four, but it's for World Autism Awareness Day.
Yeah, it's neat. People participate with buildings, but also neighborhoods as well.
That's right. Speaking of, we're taking a look right downtown in our hood here in San Antonio. Katie Blake in for Justin. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. As you can see there on our live cam shot, we've got more clouds around today as compared to yesterday, but still some pockets of sun, and that'll generally be the case as we head throughout your Friday. So more clouds today, but still pretty pleasant. Not a whole lot to complain about today. A look at the pollen count. Well, if you want to find something to complain about, it would be the oak count. 'Tis the season high again today with a count of around 3,500. Everything else, including mold, is low. So that's your pollen count on this Friday. Expect mold to continue to stay high. So out there right now at the airport, 56, mostly cloudy. Winds are light out of the east. They will become breezy and southeasterly by this afternoon, and again, we'll keep more clouds around on your Friday. What about Easter weekend? I'll give you a hint, more clouds, but really not much rain to speak of. We'll talk about it in detail coming up in just a little bit. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Katie. Checking TransGuide right now, 410 at Cherry Ridge. No problem showing up on these couple of cameras. We'll keep an eye during this hour.
And late breaking news, San Antonio Police and Bexar County Sheriff's deputies are investigating an area where a person was discovered with serious injuries.
This all unfolded on the side of West Loop 1604 near Campbellton. That's just south of San Antonio. Our Stephen Cavazos is live out from near the scene. Stephen, what do we know at this hour?
Mark, Stephanie, the scene has been dwindling down since we got here, but that has not stopped traffic from building up here in the westbound lanes of 1604 slowly here this morning. But you can see some of that traffic is right now being detoured here onto the eastbound lanes of 1604 near Campbellton. And not just that, we also want to show you that we've actually spotted investigators combing this area right behind me. It's not clear what they're actually looking for or what they're trying to find out. But here's what we saw when we arrived on the scene just before 7, this or sometime after 7 this morning, which was moments also before airlift had arrived. That person, though, was instead placed in an ambulance. We still don't know the extent of their injuries, but both Bexar County deputies and San Antonio police have been rerouting traffic here from the westbound lanes of 1604 onto the eastbound lanes of 1604 for at least the last 2 hours. Now, again, we're trying to confirm information at this time to exactly what happened out here in this area, but San Antonio police and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office have both asked us to stay in this location until that investigation has wrapped up over there. But we're still working to gather those details, so stay with KSAT as we bring you the latest. Mark, Stephanie, back to you.
Other top stories we are following today. San Antonio police need your help finding 2 people accused of shooting a man.
It happened back on March 14th while the man sat inside his car at a McDonald's on the city's east side. Now, this is a picture of the car police are looking for. Investigators say it's a 4-door gray sedan with a black hubcap on the front left tire. Officers tell us the suspects fired 6 shots at the victim's car, hitting him once. This was near the intersection of North Pan Am Expressway and North Walter Street.
If you recognize this car, call 210-224-STOP. Crime Stoppers may pay up to $5,000 for information that leads to an arrest.
And as we head into the Easter weekend, we have some reminders for you. While parks in Bexar County and San Antonio will be open this weekend, camping will not be allowed.
Park trails, linear parks, and greenways will be accessible for walking, running, and biking. Pavilion rentals are not available. However, regular picnic tables and open spaces will be open to visitors. Off-duty officers will be patrolling the parks and trails throughout the weekend.
The Archdiocese of San Antonio has eased its social distancing protocol for this weekend. Churches will open all pews and reduce social distancing requirements from 6 feet to 3 feet. Face masks are still required, and there will be thorough cleaning throughout the churches. This comes as parishes prepare for Easter masses and celebrations.
And the Passion Play will take place this year, but it's been pre-recorded. For more than 30 years, the reenactment has taken place on Good Friday in downtown San Antonio with parishioners at San Fernando Cathedral. This year, the production was pre-recorded to avoid crowds. It will air today at noon on Catholic Television of San Antonio and on the Catholic Television of San Antonio's Facebook page.
In your morning headlines, the unemployment numbers for March are out, and a deadly train crash in Taiwan.
An officer punches a teenager and a deer crashes right through the front windshield of a school bus. It's video you got to see, and our David Sears has it on this Friday morning. Good morning to you.
We got that for you. We got some feel-good video to get you into the weekend.
Great.
Good.
You're going to walk away with a smile on your face today, Mark, for sure. All right, first we're going to start with this. Good news from businesses across the country. Employers added 916,000 jobs last month. That is the biggest increase since last August. Just about double the number from February. Even though that number is pretty good for March, it is still well over 8 million short of what unemployment was before the pandemic hit over a year ago. You are looking at rescue workers looking for survivors of this deadly train crash in Taiwan. Part of the train is in a tunnel. You can see mangled cars mashed up against the wall of the tunnel. The front portion of the train is actually out of the tunnel. Riders were forced to climb out of windows, walk on the top of the train to make it to safety. 48 people were killed. That included the newly married driver of the train. It turned out to be a pretty bizarre accident. A construction truck operated by the railway was on a work site at the top of the hill. It slid down the hill and ended up on the tracks. There was not anybody in the construction truck at the time. There were about 400 people on the train, 100 injured. All the passengers have been accounted for. The investigation is underway. This is video coming to us from KTRK, the ABC affiliate over there in Houston. You're on board an ATV with a Houston teenager riding through a neighborhood. That is 16-year-old Carlos. He was with a couple of friends when they needed gas, pulled into a gas station, and that is when the county deputy approached Carlos to ask him for his ID, and then this happened.
Don't run from me, boy. I'll beat your nuts right here. Turn around and put your hands behind your back before I beat out of you.
Information.
Don't be stupid.
And over to tvameritrade.com/education.
What did I tell you?
Carlos, who's a sophomore, arrested and charged with evading arrest. After that, the video went viral. The Harris County Sheriff's Office of Internal Affairs started an investigation. Carlos objects to the way he was treated.
I just don't think I should have been treated in that manner, you know, for riding on the street. Like, a lot of 16-year-olds get an ATV, want to have fun with their friends, you know.
The deputy has yet to be identified. And in case you're wondering, according to the Texas Training, Education, and Motorized Management website, it is illegal to ride an ATV on a public street. Whoa! That's in Virginia on a school bus. That's a deer crashing right through the front window of that bus and landed right on a student who's been over asleep in the front seat. The student pretty much oblivious to what just happened. The bus driver has the nerves calmed down right there. Look how calm the bus driver just opened the door. The deer's able to get off the bus. The student, pretty lucky he was napping at the time this all happened.
It would have hit him in the chest or in the top of his head or something. So we're very lucky. He's very lucky.
Yeah, 2 students checked out at the scene along with the driver. Several other students went to the school nurse when they got to school, and everybody is okay. They do have a pretty good story to tell, though. And we're going to finish with this for you. We are in we're in Miami, just off the coast there, and these dolphins just following a boat right in the wake, just jumping, just having a good time. So there you go. That if you don't feel good on that, then you know I got nothing else for you. I kind of like that, though.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wait, did you just show us, as a former sports guy, did you just show us the Miami Dolphins at play?
Yeah, but they're real dolphins.
They're real, yeah.
Real
and they're smiling.
And we are smiling.
Yeah.
Well, remember the other day I showed you a cowboy going through a convenience store.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Oh.
So Cowboys and Dolphins. We'll check the NFL schedule later. Thank you, David. Right now it's 9:11, and we are at 56 degrees.
Yeah, still a little chilly. And a new study shows by the end of the century, summer weather could last 6 months. Our Katie Blake explains how longer summers could significantly impact our health and agriculture in today's Climate Minute.
Long home stretch continues for our Spurs, and they can't seem to buy a win these days. They lost again last night, this time to the Hawks. David and RJ break down what went wrong again later in our newscast.
For hours, hundreds of families have been in line to receive some food this morning. Just ahead on GMSA at 9, we'll be live from Brook City Base with more on this distribution event hosted by the San Antonio Food Bank and Broadway Bank.
And welcome back. It's 9:15. This morning, hundreds of people will line up to receive food and hope as Broadway Bank and the San Antonio Food Bank are teaming up to provide aid to families in need.
The mega distribution event takes place during All Faiths Fasting Friday, a day in which the community is invited to pray and make a fast offering for those facing food insecurity. Alicia Beretta is live from Brooks City Base with more on today's event. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning. Well, this Good Friday, hundreds of families are starting off here at Brooks City Base. Just take a look at this line here. This is the parking lot. It's packed, bumper to bumper. Over here to my left side already, families receiving the food that they need. And again, this is thousands in line today. Eric Cooper, President and CEO of San Antonio Food Bank, joins us this morning. How have y'all been able to handle all this, especially this morning? So many people.
Well, about 2,000 families registered to get food today. That's been kind of the level since the pandemic started. Now, we do lots of these distributions all over South Texas every week, but we couldn't do it without amazing volunteers and a lot of corporate support. This morning, highlighting some corporate support that comes from Broadway Bank. Now, they're amazing partners. They've got their employees out volunteering to serve families, but they're also giving us $50,000 to keep this truck on the road. They purchased this truck a few years back and every year have supported the cost of making that truck happen on the road.
And today, also Good Friday, we know that a lot of our community members will be fasting today. So with All Faiths Friday, you're also inviting the community to take part in that. How so?
Yeah, so you know, many people serve because of their faith tradition. And whether you're celebrating Passover or Easter or Ramadan, this is a month where a lot of celebrations happen, but there's a lot of solidarity. And so we're asking people of faith to fast. Fast on Fridays during the month of April. What money you would have spent on that food, you can donate it to put food on the table for someone else. And so any congregation can participate in All Faiths Fast Friday, but it's making our community come together in a way that's more spiritual. You know, with the pandemic, we've all been isolated, distanced. This is a way we can come together and help those in need.
Absolutely. Eric, thank you so much. And we're going to be sticking here at Brooks City Base, speaking more with Eric Cooper coming up on the next half hour here on GMSA. Mark, Steph, back to you.
Thank you, Alicia.
Time for a look at a forecast fit for a wabbit.
Aww. Yeah, it's not going to be too bad this weekend. It's going to be cloudy. And so when you see the clouds on the 7-day forecast, you may think, oh, rain, it's not going to be pleasant, we're not going to be able to get outside. Not necessarily the case. Despite a lot of clouds the next couple of days, there's really not going to be much rain to speak of, and depending on who you ask, it's not necessarily good news because we do need some rain. You probably already noticed an increase in clouds this morning. Despite that, we've still got some sun peeking through, and at times today you will see some sun here and there, so it's not going to be completely gray and overcast on this Friday, but we will have more mid and high level clouds around today than what we've seen the past couple of days. Very comfortable right now. On the cool side, 50s are air temperatures, but our dew points are in the 30s. So we've still got a good spread between our air temperatures and our dew points. So it certainly doesn't feel too humid out there today. It feels pretty nice actually with our dew points in the 30s and 40s. And those dew point numbers will slowly rise through early next week, such that this weekend it's not going to feel overly muggy. A look at our winds right now. It is getting a little breezy, places like Rock Springs and Del Rio, but for most of us, winds are very light, even calm in Pleasanton, just 3 miles per hour here at the airport. As we get into the afternoon, winds will become southeasterly, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, so it will start to get breezy, especially after lunchtime, and that breeze will hang around through the evening. Temperature-wise, here's where we'll max out today. A lot of spots down to the south and to the west, mid to upper 70s, right around 72 here in San Antonio, some upper 60s near 70 across the hill country, but again with lower humidity today. It is going to feel plenty comfortable. Cloud cover will continue to build tonight, and it'll be pretty gray not only tomorrow, but also into Easter Sunday. So this is kind of what I was talking about. This doesn't look like a very fun Easter weekend forecast, and I don't think we'll see a lot of sun the next couple of days, and that will keep our afternoon highs near 70 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. But as far as rain goes, it's going to be pretty hard to come by anything too meaningful. Just some isolated, very light showers Saturday into Saturday night. By Sunday, Sunday, some sprinkles and drizzle mainly in the morning, and then that'll start to wrap up as we head into the afternoon. So here's what's going on. Cloud cover already building in today, mainly mid and high level clouds from the south and from the west. And as we zoom out a little bit more, really not a whole lot to see here over the western part of the country. Things are pretty quiet. You do have to switch over to a different kind of imagery, or water vapor imagery here, to see this counterclockwise swirl that's over Southern California and Arizona. That is a fairly unorganized upper level disturbance that's going to move across Texas as we get into Easter weekend. This brings our increase in clouds over Saturday into Sunday, and also just some very, very light showers. We're still going to have a good amount of dry air over us as we get into Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to prevent any heavy rain, any good measurable rain from falling over the next couple of days. And again, even as we get into Easter Sunday, really just looking at some sprinkles and a little bit of drizzle, mainly during the first half of the day. Maybe we'll even get some clearing by Sunday afternoon. So you'll see a lot of clouds this weekend, but unfortunately not a whole lot of rain to speak of in terms of the drought, because we definitely do need the rain. So today we'll take you up to near 72 this afternoon with low humidity, more clouds, yes, but overall it'll be a pretty comfortable day here. Temperatures the next couple of days will be near 70 degrees. Look at next week though. Once we shake the clouds, we really get into a very warm pattern through the middle and back half of next week. 88 Wednesday, could be pushing 90 by the back half of next week. Ugh.
Katie, do you have a minute to tell us about the climate?
I do have a minute to tell you about the climate.
Good.
Speaking of getting very warm, temperatures near 90. If you're not a fan of summer, you may not like the news we have in this latest Climate Minute. Longer summers possible by the end of the decade. We'll get into that coming up on the next Climate Minute.
All right, we look forward to it. We'll be right back.
If there's something we know a lot about here in South Texas, it is the summer heat.
That is true. Our hottest month on average each year is August, when the mean high temperature reaches 96 degrees. Plus, we're used to multiple days of 100-degree weather.
But what if our summers were even longer than they are now? In today's Climate Minute, Katie Blake tells us about a new study that suggests summer could soon start much earlier and end much later. For real, Katie?
Yeah, and I misspoke before the break. It's going to be by the end of the century, not the decade. So
okay.
We've got multiple decades here to go, but yeah, the trend is that summer may be much longer by the start of the next century. So a study from the American Geophysical Union suggests that by the start of the next century, summer-like weather conditions could last for nearly 6 months each year. Spring would be the second longest season, then fall, and winter the shortest, potentially only lasting around 2 months. So how was this conclusion reached? Well, the peer-reviewed study from the American Geophysical Union looked at daily mean observed temperature. So they took the average of both low and high temperatures over the northern hemisphere from 1952 to 2011. And they found that in this 59-year period, the number of days with summer-like weather increased from 78 to 95. Additionally, the number of days with spring, fall, and winter-like weather all decreased. Now, were these increases and drops enough for you to notice? No, not really. However, the concern is that over the next 79 years, the increase in summer days will be, to quote the study, unavoidably amplified, end quote, due to an increase in global temperature as a result of climate change. So by the year 2100 here, summer could last from early May until mid-October. So all this area on the calendar here in red would be summer-like weather. And you might be thinking, well, it's warm in Texas from May until October anyway. But if you take our current summertime average highs, low to mid-90s, and extend that here from mid-May all the way through mid-October, nearly 6 months out of the year, not only is it going to be uncomfortable, it's also going to have some ripple effects on other industries. A couple of examples: increased periods of drought and effects on agriculture, plants and animals alike, and more AC demand will require changes to the power grid and supply. If we're talking 90s here, 6 months out of the year, and some triple digits in there, we're going to need a lot of AC. So big takeaway here, guys. These changes are not going to be something we deal with in the next decade. However, they will begin to compound, and in several more decades, we could start to see longer summers, and I am sweating just thinking about it.
We are too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you broke it down, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, you know, it it's warm for a period of time here, but that kind of warm would be harmful.
A little too much.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
928, we are at 56 degrees.
And there's still a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. Waived adoption fees at the Animal Defense League, rapid COVID-19 testing for summer camps, and Whataburger employee get a bonus. Our Erica Hernandez has some details on some of the stories you may have missed this week on KSAT.com.
Another tough loss for the Spurs, this time against the Atlanta Hawks last night. A dejected David and RJ give us their thoughts. We also preview of the NCAA Women's Championship weekend right here in good old San Antonio.
Welcome back. It's 9:32, and our San Antonio Spurs, they didn't win last night, but it wasn't that bad. Not as bad as other losses, right?
It's a tough homestand for sure, and we have more on a big weekend. It's Final Four weekend here in San Antonio. David and RJ. David in studio, RJ Marquez over live at the Alamodome. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Poor Stephanie trying to candy coat this thing. She's trying to make it sound better than it really is.
She's headed for a career in PR.
It was a loss, but it wasn't that.
Tough loss.
Tough loss.
Steph, it's still a loss.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And it went to double overtime.
I know.
Okay, do you want some good news, Stephanie?
Yes, please.
Let's start off with some good news. Hang on there, RJ. I'm going to give her some good news first.
Okay.
DeMar DeRozan, 36 points.
Go for it.
Derek White, 29 points. I believe that is a regular season career high for Derek White.
Cool.
That's all I got. Got anything else positive, RJ?
That was
That's all I got.
the only thing positive is that they came out intact without any injuries, I guess, because we had a 2 overtime thriller. Yeah, so that was a positive. Of course, it is a battle of attrition right now for the San Antonio Spurs. David?
Yeah, they've pretty much wasted a nice 9-game homestand without being able to put together a nice string of victories. See some DeMar DeRozan. Let me tell you, though, on the other end of the floor, remember that guy named Clint Capella?
Yeah.
Remember him?
I do.
Yeah.
Why does that name ring a bell?
Yeah, he used to play for the Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah, and now he plays for the Hawks, and he just ate the Spurs lunch down low. See that circle right under the basket right there?
Yes.
It went outside. Every basket he made last night was inside that circle.
Right.
Went and looked at the chart. He made 9 out of 15 shots. And maybe one of them or two of them were like a little outside that circle, but that's how close he was to the basket on 9 makes last night. And he had 30 points. He just absolutely murdered that Spurs defense down low. That did not help the situation any. Not to mention they went to double overtime and Trae Young had a nice.
Did I hear, David, that you didn't even stay for OT or the double OT?
Well, no, I was up, but as it got close to being the end, I finally said, "That's it." My wife goes, "Not over yet." You know, it's the NBA. I said, "No, it's over." There's like a minute left, and they were down 6. I said, "No, it's over."
I just think, I mean, overall, grit and effort from the Spurs. I mean, love the fact they were playing 3 games in 4 nights. This game goes into double overtime. Tough loss, of course, but you know what? They showed a lot of fight, but at the end of the day, I think these losses are starting to sort of catch up to them a little bit. You see them sliding down the standings a little bit more. And guys, it's only going to get worse. There are 17 road games left. There are 17 games left, so we still have a long ways to go, and DeMar DeRozan spoke about that after the game.
Tough part haven't even kicked in. You know, we've been home for some time. Got a couple more home games, but the challenge haven't even kicked in. Honestly, you know, we gotta put our seatbelts on and get ready for this tough ride and ride it out.
Better strap those seatbelts on tight because, it only gets worse before it's going to get better. But, you know, they're not playing bad basketball right now. They're just not winning. They end up running into teams that want to shoot 55% from three-point range and all that kind of stuff. So there's your matchup for Saturday night. The Pacers come to town. Hopefully we can slow down the Pacers a little bit, and maybe they can get this thing turned around. In the meantime, a huge weekend at the Alamodome. And look at that thing sitting next to RJ. Isn't that a nice looking trophy right there?
Let's go back out there.
Yes,
there it is.
Wow. Very nice.
Very nice. A game show presenter.
Look at that.
Lovely.
Yeah, guys, that's right, the NCAA Women's Final Four. We are here. It officially tips off tonight, so a lot of interesting action taking place tonight. We have a beautiful court behind me. I don't know if you guys could see this, but just an amazing, beautiful court. court with all of our San Antonio flavors, San Antonio colors. And as part of this whole NCAA tournament, the championship being held here in San Antonio, we were able to see a new dream court out on the east side that was unveiled yesterday. Nancy Lieberman, of course, is a basketball legend. She was out there on the east side to unveil this dream court, which is a lasting gift. And of course, guys, there's been all sorts of different things that the tournament has been able to do for the community. There was also a donation to a SAISD Academy, which is a $5,000 Scholastic School Library makeover for HERF Academy. And so there's a lot of great things going on. And of course, we have the games tonight. Want to mention real quick a couple of the matchups here. South Carolina is taking on Stanford. So people locally, here's a big deal. Kiana Williams, she's one of the star players for the Stanford Cardinal. She is a Wagner alum, so she's in the Final Four. This is going to be an exciting matchup. And then the nightcap will be Arizona taking on UConn. And we all know that if you follow women's basketball, Gino Oriana and the UConn Huskies are one of the legendary dynasties when it comes to women's hoops. Yep. So a lot of excitement here. There are still limited tickets available here if you want to come out and watch some great basketball at the Alamo Dome as we get ready for the women's Final Four. The championship game will be on Sunday.
I guess we're rooting for Stanford since we have a local star.
Yeah.
I guess we are.
Yeah, from Wagner High School. Very cool.
All right, RJ, thank you. Live from the Dome. David, live here in the studio right there. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Taking a look outside with live cam. Chilly 56 degrees right now. Not too bad.
It is cool out there. It'll warm up once again this afternoon. A lot of us will see highs climb into the 70s, but still pretty comfortable this morning, even though it's on the cool side. Our humidity is low, so not too muggy, and that'll be the case through the upcoming weekend as well. Here's how low temperatures played out this morning across the area. We did have a couple of 40s, 43 the morning low in Kerrville, 44 up in Fredericksburg, but most of us in the 50s, even a few spots like Cotulla, bottoming out in the low 60s. Not a whole lot of movement with temperatures yet, especially off to the southwest, and that's because we are starting to see some mid-level clouds move in and really thicken up off to the southwest. But with some peaks of sun here and there this afternoon, again, we should warm up fairly nicely. A lot of us sneaking into the mid-70s when all is said and done today. Breezy winds kicking in after lunchtime as well, and that breeze will hang around through the evening. What about the upcoming Easter weekend? If you missed the forecast earlier, we'll talk about what you can expect through Easter Sunday coming up in just a bit. Mark and Steph.
San Antonio Food Bank will distribute thousands of meals during this Good Friday. The food bank's president and CEO inviting the community to pray and make a fast offering for neighbors facing food insecurity.
The distribution kicked off at 9 a.m. at Brook City Base with hundreds lining up since early this morning. Alicia Barrera is live from that event with more. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, to be exact, 2,000 families have registered for this food distribution event, and that distribution began promptly at 9 a.m. You can already see that line finally start to move. Families have been out here, some for hours and some just showing up, so they're right on time. Eric Cooper, president and CEO of the San Antonio Food Bank. You tell me today's special. Not only do y'all have y'all's volunteers on hand, but also Broadway Bank volunteers.
Yeah, you know, truly it is a Good Friday because of our partnership with Broadway Bank. They're giving where the rubber hits the road. Now, they purchased this truck for us a few years back, and every year they've wanted to keep that truck on the road, helping us get food from those that have it to those that need it, with a gift of $50,000 that helps us cover the driver, the insurance, the fuel, all of that. But it helps us do things like this, really serve families. And today, as you mentioned, these families have come to get food assistance. It's happening because of a lot of great volunteers from Broadway and the community. Together, we're going to make sure no family goes hungry.
Eric, thank you so much for being with us this morning. The food distribution event is going to be happening for the next couple of hours. Again, they have plenty of volunteers standing by to help those families in need here in San Antonio. Reporting live from Brook City Base, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
20 till 10, 60 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Whataburger saying thank you to its employees in a big way, giving them $90 million in bonuses. Our Erica Hernandez tells us about some of the other benefits employees got.
Waived adoption fees at Animal Defense League, rapid COVID-19 testing for summer camps, and Whataburger employees get a bonus. Some of the stories you might have missed on KSAT.com this week.
Erica Hernandez is joining us live from her home with a look at those stories. Hey, good morning, Erica.
Morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, it looks like some summer camps will be able to take place this year after not taking place last year due to the pandemic, and the state is helping camps prevent potential outbreaks. Earlier this week, Governor Greg Abbott announced that Texas will be providing state-licensed summer camps with COVID-19 rapid tests. The tests will be voluntary for both staff and campers. Camp organizers need to apply to participate. There's also a series of health recommendations revised for summer camp operators, including social distancing rules, prohibiting parents or guardians to visit except to pick up or drop off, and separating campers and staff into smaller groups that do not mix for the duration of camp. Next up, if you're looking to adopt this month, head over to the Animal Defense League as they are waiving adoption fees for all adult dogs. ADL says during the special, dogs over the age of 6 months will have their adoption fees waived in an effort to find homes for 150 animals. Instead of a fee, adopters will be asked to make a monetary donation to ADL, and that donation will help fund the shelter's medical program. The Adopt-a-thon will take place throughout the month, but adoption appointments are required at both ADL's campuses. Face masks and temperature checks are also required. And finally, what a thank you to Whataburger employees. The burger chain announced on Wednesday that it was thanking its more than 45,000 employees with $90 million in bonuses. The company says that the bonuses are for all the hard work they did during the pandemic and severe winter weather. The bonuses apply to employees across Whataburger's 10-state footprint. Employees also received extra mile bonuses, emergency pay, and the doubling of their 401k plan matching for 2020. And if you didn't know, there is now more than 840 locations of water. Can you believe? I had no idea that there was so many Whataburgers.
I didn't either.
They're expanding like crazy. I mean, we could eventually see them coast to coast.
This is true.
Yeah, and I think one is just about to open up in Colorado. So, yeah, they're starting to spread everywhere.
Yeah, well, they're being real generous. Kind of reminds me of San Antonio-based HEB taking care of their folks, too, during the pandemic.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well deserved.
All right, Erica, thank you. Happy Easter to you and your fam.
Bye, Erica.
What a forecast.
What a forecast. Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice.
I was like trying to make Katie chuckle.
What a forecast. That was pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. It was a low-hanging fruit, but...
it really was. Hey, it's Friday, okay?
There you go.
It's the best I got.
I'll allow it. I was talking to Mike Osterhage earlier this morning, and
How'd that go?
Saying it's... You never know, right? We were saying... He looks so nice this morning, though.
Yes,
he did. For people who didn't see it, he had a seersucker suit, suede bucks, nice pastels, very kind of like a Easter Southern lawyer look.
There you go. Very nice outfit.
He looked very nice. But we were saying this weekend is not. It's not going to be unpleasant to be outside. It's not necessarily going to be the most beautiful Easter weekend we've ever had because of a lot of clouds that will be around the next couple of days, and you'll start to notice the increase in clouds today. Out there now, some mid-level clouds have moved in from the southwest, and they'll be with us today, and they'll start to become a bit more widespread in coverage as we get into the weekend, so that'll lead us into some pretty gray days tomorrow and again on Easter Sunday. We're starting to get our visible satellite picture in now, and it does show some of these mid-level clouds a bit more widespread in coverage and also a little thicker off to the west of 35 for the most part, and those will again continue to build in gradually during the day today. Off to our west, not a whole lot to see here in terms of satellite and radar, but these are the mid and upper level winds in the atmosphere. And right here over Phoenix, this little dip there, that's a weak upper level disturbance that's going to continue to push these clouds into Texas and bring us some, really, really low chances of some rain as we get into the Easter weekend. So as this disturbance moves over Texas tomorrow, and then starts to move out into Sunday, we'll keep a lot of clouds around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, cloudy. Some very, very light rain. Some sprinkles are possible. Temperatures in the low 50s. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, not a whole lot of clearing, so that'll keep us a little cooler tomorrow, mid to upper 60s. But any sprinkles should generally be limited to early part of the day tomorrow, and then late Saturday night into early on Sunday. Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, a better chance for some drizzle and sprinkles in the morning. But again, that should clear up a bit as we get into the afternoon, but still pretty cool as we get into Easter Sunday with a high around 70. So your Easter Sunday forecast could be a little damp in the morning, first part of the day, with some drizzle and sprinkles possible. Staying cloudy as we get into the afternoon, but I think if there's any moisture out there, it's going to be during the first part of the day on Sunday. Temperatures now 56 at the airport, 55. New Braunfels. Humidity will stay low today, so even though we've got these clouds around, it will be very comfortable. Look for high temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and low 70s. If you like the cooler air, enjoy the next few days, because by middle and back half of next week, we could see highs approaching 90.
Wow.
Guys.
Well, at least we get options, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you, Katie.
950, about 60 degrees.
And coming up, we told you a story about a man in Georgia who received his final paycheck in pennies. Still ahead, how a coin firm helped him cash him out.
If you watched GMSA this morning, you may have heard about Kristen Hanna's latest book, The Four Winds.
The author of the New York bestseller, New York Times bestseller, explores themes of kindness and connection to the land during the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. It is also a story that features women as the main protagonists in the story, and Hanna says this is by design. She says that we can look back on history in many eras and see that women's voices are less heard or marginalized.
I just think that it's really important to get sort of the fullness of stories out there, to let people know what women were doing, let our daughters and granddaughters, understand some of the great courage that women have shown throughout history and some of the ways that we have had an important impact on the story.
You can read more about Kristen Hanna's book, The Four Winds, on KSAT.com. We also have a link to register for this year's virtual book festival, where she will be a featured author.
Easter is just around the corner, and many families are looking forward to celebrating together, especially as the rollout for the vaccine continues. So today on the news at noon, tips to help you celebrate safely.
Speaking of safely, if you're out and about on the roads this weekend, please be careful. Slow it down. Please do not throw trash like your face masks out the window on Easter weekend. Katie Blake?
All right, weather-wise, clouds build in today. They'll be with us through the weekend. Some isolated light showers possible Saturday, mainly some drizzle and sprinkles through the first part of the day on Sunday. Rain this weekend is not going to add up to much at all. In most spots, less than 1/10 of an inch. So while it will be cloudy, we're really not going to see much rain. Getting pretty toasty by the middle of next week.
All right, we have a follow-up for you. This is on KSAT.com. A coin firm has paid it forward after a Georgia man was paid his final paycheck in pennies.
Yes.
Yeah, this was quite the coinundrum, as the story says.
Yeah, so just to remind you, we had this story last week, and this man was owed $915, and his former employer dropped it off, like Mark said, in pennies. So Coinstar stepped in and heard about the predicament, decided that change was needed. They picked up Flatten's coins and rounded up the amount to give him a $1,000 check.
They also made 2 donations to charities of his choice. Actually, it was 2 animal shelters. It was kind of cool for Coinstar to step up and help out this Marietta, Georgia man, because, again, it was a wheelbarrow full. He and his girlfriend had tried very hard to do some counting. They spent evenings doing this. But Coinstar steps up, not only gets the counting done, but rounds it up too, which is a nice ending to the story.
Yeah, and I like that they donated to 2 charities, so very cool.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Bye, guys.